His dropship landed without ceremony. No escort, no banners, just dust rising like old ghosts recognizing an old mistake. Rax'Thul stepped onto the cracked ground. The air still carried fragments of ion burns and forgotten screams. He walked forward slowly, because he knew exactly where he was going. The place where his brother died. The monument. It wasn't hard to find. Even time hadn't dared erase it. At the center of the ruined colony stood a structure that did not belong to any military design. A stone and metal monument, carefully assembled. Not by machines. By hands. At its base were engraved names. Some alien, some human, all mixed together in a way that war protocols would never have allowed. And at the top, a single inscription. To those who did not come back. Rax'Thul stopped walking. His hand tightened, because there it was. His brother's name, the human caretaker. Someone was already there. A human, standing near the monument like it was normal to be in a place everyone else had forgotten. Worn survival coat, toolkit at his side, dust-stained gloves. Not hiding, not running, just maintaining. He noticed Rax'Thul immediately, but didn't move, didn't reach for a weapon, only nodded slightly, like acknowledging an unexpected visitor at a grave. You came back, the human said quietly. Rax'Thul's voice was low. You shouldn't be here. The human glanced at the monument. I know. A pause. But neither should this. The name that breaks silence. Rax'Thul stepped closer. His eyes locked onto the engraved name again. His brother. The one he had failed to retrieve. The one the war had erased without permission. His voice hardened. Why is his name here? The human didn't hesitate. Because I found him after the battle. Silence. Rax'Thul's expression tightened. The human continued. He was still tagged as alive when I reached the wreck zone. A pause. I stayed with him until the signal stopped. The wind shifted across the ruins. Nothing else moved. The monument that should not exist. Rax'Thul's hand hovered near the stone. Not touching. Not yet. His voice sharpened. You built a memorial for an enemy soldier. The human nodded. I built it for a person who was alone. A pause. That's different. Rax'Thul looked at him now. Really looked. No fear. No agenda. Just exhaustion and patience. Like he had done this before. Not war, but loss. The memory returns. Something inside Rax'Thul shifted. He remembered the last transmission from his brother. Not battle commands. Not tactical updates. Just broken static and a final fragment of voice. Don't let it end like this. He had never understood what that meant. Until now. Because the monument wasn't a claim. It wasn't propaganda. It wasn't even reconciliation. It was witnessing. The question. Rax'Thul's voice dropped. Did he suffer? The human paused. Then answered honestly. Yes. A pause. But not alone. That sentence landed harder than any weapon. Because alone was what mattered most in war. Not death. Isolation. Rax'Thul stepped closer to the monument. His reflection barely visible in the cracked metal surface. The break. For a long time neither spoke. The wind filled the silence. Finally, Rax'Thul said quietly, You gave him a name in your records? The human shook his head. No. Another pause. I gave him company. Silence again. Because in that difference, name versus company, entire philosophies of war collapsed. The shift. Rax'Thul slowly placed his hand on the monument. Not aggressively. Not ritualistically. Just contact. Like confirming something real. Then he spoke, almost to himself. He would have hated this war. The human nodded. Most of them did. A long pause. Then Rax'Thul asked, Why come back here? The human looked around at the ruins. Because someone had to make sure the dead weren't just coordinates. Epilogue. The field that remembered. Rax'Thul didn't destroy the monument. He didn't thank the human either. He simply stayed longer than he planned. Standing there, between memory and ruin. And when he finally left, he did something no raider of the Vorn clans had ever done before. He left without taking anything. Not vengeance. Not proof. not even anger. Because on a dead battlefield where everything was supposed to mean conquest or loss, someone had quietly built something neither war nor empire could classify. A place where even enemies were allowed to stop being targets long enough to be remembered as lives that once mattered.